Greatest African leaders of all time. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela sacrificed a great chunk of his life fighting against the apartheid system in South Africa. After 27 years behind bars, became the first South Africa's black president. His government tackled racial systems that segregates and torn apart the country's diverse races. Madiba forgave all his enemies and created Reconciliation Commission. He won Nobel Peace Prize in 1993 for his peace-loving life and works to end of the brutal apartheid in South Africa. Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie, also known as Ras Tafari Mekonnen, was an Ethiopian ruler. Selassie was one of the greatest sons of Africa who was crowned king of kings in Addis Ababa in 1930, was believed in Ethiopia to have been chosen by God. The Rastafarians in Jamaica even recognized him as their messiah. In the early 1960s, he supported the founding of the African Union in order to achieve political and economic integration among the African countries. Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah is a highly revered Ghanaian politician who led the country in 1957, formerly Gold Coast, to gain independence from the country's colonial masters, Great Britain. Nkrumah was the first president and prime minister of Ghana. He is generally considered one of the most famous Pan-Africanists, as he co-founded the Organization of Africa Union, now called the African Union. But how did it all begin? Nkrumah returned to Gold Coast after studying abroad for about 12 years. In 1950, he was arrested for spearheading a political campaign to bring an end to British rule in Ghana. His actions influenced subsequent independence movements throughout Africa. His tenure as president saw massive developmental projects across the length and breadth of Ghana. Nkrumah's legacy in Ghana, and even beyond, is unparalleled. Julius Nyerere. Julius Nyerere is another unforgettable hero of the African continent. He was the first president and prime minister of Tanzania, formerly Tanganyika. His rule as a statesman lasted from 1961 to 1985. As an intellectual who had master's degrees in economics and history, Nyerere was an African nationalist and a socialist. In 1953, Julius Nyerere co-founded the TANU, Tanganyika African National Union. As president of TANU, Nyerere piled a lot of pressure on Britain for self-rule and governance. His efforts finally paid off on December 9, 1961, as Tanzania gained independence. Patrice Lumumba. Patrice Lumumba was the first Prime Minister of Democratic Republic of Congo. He acquired Belgian citizenship and worked as Congolese trade union. When he came back to Congo, Patrice Lumumba founded the Congolese National Movement, MNC. The Congolese adopted Pan-African ideologies to push for independence for his country. Congo gained its independence from Belgium on June 30, 1961, largely due to Lumumba's struggle. He garnered a lot of public support for his excellent personality and good communication skills. Sadly, Lumumba was ousted from office by Colonel Mobutu and later assassinated in January 1961. Jomo Kenyatta. His name is one of the biggest in the history of African politics. Jomo Kenyatta was an anti-colonial activist who rose to become the first president of Kenya. He was also the first prime minister of Kenya. Kenyatta played a big role in ensuring that Kenya freed itself from colonial rule. He was the frontline politician in the Kenya National African Union, KANU. His ideologies were that of a nationalist and a conservative. Kenyatta also promoted peace between the country's ethnic groups. He is often revered as one of the founders of the Organization of African Union, now African Union. Kenneth Kaunda was a Zambian politician who served as the first president of Zambia. He gained a lot of political experience when he served as foreign affairs interpreter and advisor in 1949. Kaunda joined African National Congress and took the top position. He used peaceful protests and negotiations to secure independence for Zambia on October 24, 1964. Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara is widely regarded as one of Africa's political heroes. He was a revolutionary who became Burkina Faso's president from 1983 to 1987. Sankara was a strong Pan-Africanist and a supporter of Marxism. He is generally viewed as an icon of revolution, or the Che Guevara of Africa. When he was 20, Sankara joined the army and got trained in Madagascar in 1970. That was where he observed how students revolted against the Madagascan government. This experience changed his life forever. Sankara returned to the Upper Volta in 1980. He went on to seize power in 1983 and changed the country's name from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso. Sadly, Sankara's pursuit of growth, gender equality, and social justice came to an end in 1987. On October 15, 1987, Sankara was brutally assassinated at the age of 37 by his former ally Blaise Compaoré in a military coup. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more videos.